Oh, there it goes. Okay. So in lieu of making a very long post about this subject, I just decided to just make a video. It's going to be my first time actually putting myself in a video. So, oh well. If people make fun of me, it just shows how their ego is so small or that their wieners are like that big. But whatever. Well, first of all, my backdrop, I've got my praying mantises up there. And then these are my boa constrictor cages. So there's three. You can kind of see the third one. I'm kind of mixed up with how this works. Third one's right there. And then there's the second one in Titans up there, my bigger one. This just seemed like a better backdrop than just sitting in front of racks, I guess? I don't know. Anyway, so I was going to do a couple little topics. One, I kind of decided to go away from. Why drag the drama even further and beat the horse? Who cares? It was just going to be about my personal drama with another breeder, but I actually just don't give a shit anymore. I just don't. I don't care what her opinions are. So, whatever. So I'm going to go over something else that I was going to talk about. So, as most know, if you follow my Instagram, or if you're new and you haven't gone to my Instagram yet, I guess. So this year I bred Enigmas for the first time. I had a male. My cat is bugging me. I had a male I bought that was a white and yellow total eclipse Enigma, and I raised him up, and I was going to breed him with the assumption that I was going to test out a wild type theory with my fasciolatus crosses that I have. Supposedly, according to some other breeders, if you cross them into higher content hybrid crosses, I guess you could say, or the pure lines, it was supposed to ward off the Enigma syndrome a little more. And if you just ignore this, she's just going to do whatever she wants. So I gave it a shot. I actually, I bred him to a F1, which if you don't know what that means she came from a pure line. So she was a mix between a pure fascio and just your regular Immacularius, no hybrid in it, or no subspecies in it. So it was an F1 cross. It's similar to when you breed a golden retriever and a poodle and you get a golden doodle. So the golden doodles would be the F1s of that, even though, whatever. So anyway, yeah, so I bred him to an F1, and then, actually I bred him to two F1s, but I didn't get very many eggs out of one of them. She kind of bred later in the season, so I don't know what happened with her, but she's still producing. It's just one clutch I didn't catch in time. I was house sitting, and she ended up laying in dry substrate, and they dried out. Another set were duds or something along those lines, and I got one or two clutches from her that were still good. But anyway, trying not to go off on tangents, I guess. Anyway, so I bred him to two F1s, and I also bred him to an F2, which is what you get when you breed two F1s together. So last year I bred one of these F1s to another F1 of mine. I have a male, and that's what I got, and I kept two of them, and I was going to breed them to two F2s, but I ended up breeding one of them to one of my tangs, just kind of as a last hoorah for breeding tangs, because I really don't have any interest in it. I may do a creamsicle thing, but I don't see it happening anytime soon right now. So, so that was just a little fun for me thing, I guess. Excuse me again, Dr. Pepper. Anyway, so yeah, so I bred him to both of those. Now, I haven't hatched very many eggs yet. I'm only maybe halfway through my season. I currently have, I think, 6 eggs in the incubator. I have one that's hatching right now. So actually, technically 7 eggs. But, so I've hatched, we'll go ahead and count the one that's hatching. I've hatched 17 babies this year so far. And that includes the one that's not in the Enigma project, but I'm not even going to try to count those guys out. So, of those, I think I've produced 6 Enigmas that I know of. Um, there might be some other ones that I am not sure of because I've been hatching albino super snows, and of course those come out just solid white, and so there's really no way of telling until they're older. So they could be Enigma, I don't know. So, as of what I know, I have hatched 6 or 7, I think. And of those, I have hatched 2 that have Enigma syndrome. One, he actually wasn't that bad. If you scared him, he would do a little bit of a turn and then go on his business. Whenever he was younger, if he would walk straight, but if he ran into a wall, he would start doing circles. So, but of course he grew out of that, but if you scared him, he did turns. I know some breeders would have went ahead and sold that as a breeder. I was not okay with that. They are not leaving here as breeders unless they are not showing anything as of that point. I'm trying to do this as ethical as possible, considering Enigma is one of the most controversial morphs out there, under the lemon frost, which I'm not even going to get into that one. So the other one though that I hatched, he has it pretty bad. If you mess with him, if you touch him, move him, he'll start doing circles. He doesn't death roll. He kind of stargazes every now and again, but it's mostly just him doing circles. Both ate well on their own. I've been kind of preparing myself for possibly hatching one that's not going to thrive very well. And I'm fully prepared to take care of that gecko however I need to. But, so, I mean, of those, it's like 1 out of 3. I'm not really seeing a very good trend yet to test this theory with the wild types. So it's kind of concerning to me, and I kind of am getting kind of bummed out whenever I hatch out a gecko with Enigma syndrome. And I have to pet it out, because, I mean, I hate to talk about money, because I don't really do it about the money, but that means I have to sell them lower, which I need them to sell fairly good, so that I can make up for the money that I spent raising up the parents, and pay for the bills, yada yada. So last year, my animals paid for themselves. The geckos even paid for all the snake food in the cages. I don't pocket any of my business money. It stays in my PayPal until I need it. So all of that I got last year went to 2 cages back behind me, and all of their food, including the geckos, all of their gecko food, all of the snake food. So they pay for themselves. I never pocket any of that money, and that's how I want to keep it. I don't want to profit off of this. I just want it to support itself. That is my wish. And so I feel bummed out when I have to sell them lower, because then I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pay for everything that the animals need, which, I mean, I have sold other babies, so it's not really that big a deal. And then also, with the prices being lower, it draws out the people who are just impulse buying. So that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is people who go out and they impulse buy animals just because they can. And those are the animals that you see where they're not being kept properly. The people did not do their research on how to properly house these guys, and they're not even that hard to house. And I mean, one example of such thing is this guy up here, which you can't see him. He's kind of behind his water dish right about there. He was one of those victims where they impulse bought him because he's a normal, so they're cheap, and they just threw him in a tank with a heat pad and heat light, and they basically cooked him, so now he has a neurological problem. So, yeah, so one of my biggest pet peeves are people who do not do research. They just buy them because they can. So that draws out those people. So, of those 2 geckos that I had that hatched out with Enigma syndrome, I've sold one so far. I ran into a girl at a local Tractor Supply, basically. Basically, no, it was a Tractor Supply. So she actually was interested, and she's kept reptiles before, and I offered one up to her. I've actually kept them fairly off the market. I know I've put them on my Instagram a couple times, and I've put them on Morph Market for a little while. But I decided to back out of that. I'm not going to sell them online. I probably what I'm going to do is I have a sign up, or actually I'm already signed up. I'm going to be vending at the Nashville Exotic Pet Expo, and I'm going to bring whatever pet onlys I have there. That keeps people from sneakily buying them to breed them, because I know those are people out there, they'll see these high quality morphs and they're just going to breed them anyway, despite what'll happen to their quality of life. And but a lot of the people that come to the expo are really just there to look for pets, and I'm not one of those people that just sells to whoever throws money at me. If they tell me some BS story about their gecko having a heart attack, or true story by the way, or whatever, that they've kept their geckos on sand for 20 years, never had a problem until now, blah blah blah, and their gecko just passed away from old age, I will not sell to them. I will refuse sale. It is my right as a vendor. They could go complain to the staff, and the staff's just going to look at them like they're stupid. So I only sell after I question the crap out of people, which, I mean, it does lower my sales by a little bit, considering I am competing with wholesalers who don't really care. But I feel like that's going to be the better track. I only have one pet only right now. He's the one that does circles really, really badly. But he eats great. But I think he'd find a better home there. And if not, I'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. But anyway, so I guess in conclusion to all this rambling, is do I want to keep breeding Enigmas? And really the answer is probably no. If I do try it again, it's gonna be my male to a pure fasciolatus or pure whatever wild type I want to try. It's probably gonna be fascia, just because that's what I have. So that is a big if I buy a female. I am looking for at least one. I'd like to breed some stuff to the pure fascios. I feel like the fascio stuff kind of has better color. They almost, to me, look like matte snows without having any snow in them. They kind of reduces the yellow, kind of brings out more purple. So I kind of enjoy it. So whether or not I buy the female to breed to my Enigma or not, I don't know yet. It's falling asleep. Ugh. But, so, yeah, so probably what's going to happen is right now I am hanging on to all of my white and yellows that I hatched that are not Enigma. I have hatched a couple white and yellow Enigmas, but I'm going to sell those. So far, the one or two white and yellow Enigmas I have not shown any Enigma syndrome. I take them out, I handle them, I mess with them whenever I clean them. I have not seen any signs as of yet. I'm trying to keep track of that. If I ever sell a gecko and then it starts showing Enigma syndrome, I actually will notify the person and see what they want to do from there. I'll offer them their money back or offer them a different gecko. I'm not going to be that person. What happens while shipping, I can't control. I can do my best, but as far as them being here, I'm going to do my best to do this as ethically as possible. But anyway, so as of right now, I'm keeping all my white and yellows. I think I have 2, maybe 3 that I'm keeping right now. And they have no white and yellow syndrome, since that is apparently a thing. I hadn't heard about that until fairly recently. They actually are completely fine. I've never seen them do anything weird. I thought white and yellow was just the non-Enigma syndrome, Enigma-esque morph. But anyway, so I've been watching them now, but they're fine. So that is probably what's going to happen. I'm going to keep my male. I'm not getting rid of him. He's fine. He has no Enigma syndrome. He's a bit stubborn when it comes to breeding, because if he thinks he's getting girlfriends, he's not going to eat. He stops eating completely. There's a couple times I've had to assist feed him during breeding season because he just would not eat. But now he's eating. Now he's getting fat again. So whether or not I want to breed him again, I don't know. If I do, I'm not going to breed him as hardcore as I did this year. Granted, he only bred like 3 females. Technically 4. One didn't lay. But hopefully that will not happen again, but we will see. He's probably going to be one of those. But yeah, so as far as Enigma goes, I'm not against people breeding it. I feel like if you are breeding it, you need to understand that you are most likely going to get Enigma syndrome. It doesn't matter if your parents or the parents of the geckos that you've hatched have Enigma syndrome or not. I think that it's just a link thing. There's nothing you can do. I don't think there's any breeding it out. I think there's just a lot of masking it is what it is, and I think that's what the wild cross experiment basically is. It's just, it gives, yes, it probably yields you more babies that aren't showing it, but it's not going to fix it. You're not getting rid of the Enigma syndrome. It's there. It's part of their makeup. But I am not completely against it. It is not something life-threatening for the animal, unless it just suddenly gets Enigma syndrome so badly that it just cannot function. But as far as I've seen, animals that just do turns or stargaze, I think can lead perfectly fine lives as pets. I think just a nice calm environment is what they need to keep it from getting any worse. As long as they are not breeding or anything, you shouldn't have any problems. I think Enigmas make amazing pets, and as long as you keep them stress-free, you shouldn't have any problems. I've had Love Game, my male, for I think a little over a year now, maybe more, I can't remember. And he's fine. He's already gone through 1 breeding season. He bred 4 females, like I said, and he's fine. He just didn't want to eat because he wanted to breed more than he wanted to eat. So that is just my thing on that. I may talk about lemon frosts, but for now, that is just my experience so far. Like I said, I'm only halfway through, but we will see. If I breed it to the Fascio pures, I'm just going to keep it down to 1 female probably and just focus on the white and yellows now. But I just wanted to share my opinion on that, and I know it kind of ran a little long. I know we're getting close to 20 minutes, and I apologize, but I just want to talk about that. It was a lot better than just writing out a very long book. But thank you for watching. If you like this content, even though I haven't done much yet, I'd like to. You can subscribe, you can make suggestions. I will try stuff out. I keep all kinds of species of snakes. I think I have 14 snakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 species, I think, in total. And then I have all the leopard geckos, which I haven't shown them much, but I should. I need to start trying it again. I just haven't been as active with my job. Being a vet technician is kind of rough. But yeah, so if you have any suggestions, just let me know, and I will try my best. So yeah, thank you.